this episode, I return to the urban homestead I began building 8 years ago when I first removed my lawn in protest and replaced it with a drought-tolerant landscape. As the project evolved, I continued experimenting to learn more about permaculture systems such as composting, greywater recycling, and aquaponics, which can regenerate the earth and significantly reduce water usage. Come along as we tour this urban landscape to imagine what the world could look like if every home in America took a similar approach to their outdoor space. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe and hit that like button. Now, let's get into the adventure. Alright, what's up y'all? I'm back in my own neighborhood here in San Marcos, California, and just to do some work in the yard and kind of see how everything's going with the homesteading project that I started here about 7 years ago. And it's been a challenge trying to do things on an urban lot with very little support. When everybody is thinking about having lawns and freshly cut grass. As you can see behind me, we have this incredible community park, which would serve as all the open space you need for grass. So why don't we do something a little more creative with our own home and front yard and try to do something that's sustainable and represents the ecosystem and the environment in which we live. And so that's what we did, try to create a Waterwise front yard and backyard, utilizing the resources as best as we could and in the most sustainable way possible. So we're just gonna check out the progress of the yard, do a little yard work, and that's it. Just say hello to the plants. Alright, I've done a whole bunch of these grapevines. These are champagne grapes, so these are some organic, smaller varieties of grapes. They're going crazy. The avocado tree over there as well. Ton of pruning. The one cool thing is this agave here, or it's a type of agave, or maybe it's an aloe, I don't know. But the mother plant dies after a couple years, but it produces all of these babies. You get all these little babies. Nice. Radical pruning of these fire sticks here. But these also propagate easily. These things are just getting super tall. Beast mode. Whew, alright, so like 3.5 hours on the grind, and I got a lot done. Yard is looking fantastic. Just coming through, did a lot of pruning. Took off, trimmed down a lot of these fire sticks, these other plants. Did a huge whack job on the grapes over here. Just working with the grapes, fixing the trellises, trim the sugar cane in the back. The little sugar cane forest over here, caña de azúcar. Majority of the work needs to be done is in the backyard here. So much fruit, all of our giant birds of paradise. All this stuff is just lots of maintenance, and our landscaper just hasn't been doing the work like we would expect him to since we've been gone. Haven't been able to really give him great feedback because we're not here
watching the work and watching it get done. So there's a lot of things that have just been neglected that I typically would have taken care of. Orange trees looking fantastic. Just trimmed up all the maracuya. Got a whole bunch of maracuya vines up there by the avocado tree. This is the Manila mango tree right here next to the pond. All getting really big, looking super healthy. A little bit of nutrient deficiencies, but nothing that can't be remedied. Yeah, geez, look at everything. Got the apples. Apples are doing great. We're having this beetle issue. Oh yeah, look at those guys. They are rubbing. And away they go. But we do have a lot of healthy apples. This Manila mango tree is holding a lot of fruit, but hasn't been really thinned out, so the tree is really distressed. Pond is looking good. Need to add some water to the pond. Beautiful lotus flower over there hiding. Cherry tree. Got a Suriname cherry right here. This is a drought tolerant fruit producer, Suriname cherry tree. And we got the pomegranate. The pomegranate is killing it. Beautiful pomegranate fruits growing in there. Continuing through the forest, the food forest. There's stone fruit tree, grafted stone fruit tree back there, still alive, not killing it. They said that a lot of plums are coming off of there, so that's a good sign. Let's go ahead and get up here. Now this is the upper part of the yard, so this is one of the more recent additions that I completed during COVID. And this was a way just to maximize the yard, utilize the terrace up here on the top part of the yard. All these dragon fruit. Pitaya is doing okay, just hasn't been trained. So we got some ginger. Lots of passion fruit vines up here. And these were our planter beds, so you can see there's some strawberries here. Some other random things, but just hasn't been maintained. But could come to life at any time. Que lindo. So pretty. Maracuya aren't as big as in Costa Rica, but they're still looking good. These are tree collards right here. This is like a really healthy, sustainable food. Nice leafy greens full of calcium and protein. These things just keep growing. Called tree collards because they eventually grow this giant stalk. It looks almost like a tree. They are doing good. And this is the mama avocado tree right here. Pride and joy. Had this thing since it was gifted many years ago at our old house. Strong, nice Haas avocado fruit production. These aren't quite ready, but some of them are looking good. I don't think any of these are ready to harvest. They're all tiny. This is the top of the yard. The doghouse, tiny home. Another little seating area. This is a pear tree right here. This pear tree is still alive, but still has not taken off. So that's just a quick little trip, a little tour of the crib here. Doing some maintenance. This has been a homesteading project that has been in the works for about 7-8 years. And it's just been fun to see this transform from a lawn to a food producing, beautiful ecosystem that we have here. Just full of plant life, flora, fauna, animals, insects. It's beautiful.
Thanks again for watching this episode of the Free Range Squad. Until our next adventure, pura vida.